Patience for tonight. Like I said, this is a regional town hall. That's why we're talking about these two subjects here in Bellevue. There'll be future opportunities to discuss other county matters at upcoming regional town halls focused on those communities and those topics. I want to ensure that each area of District 1 receives the attention it deserves and that the purpose of each meeting remains clear and productive. The purpose of tonight's town hall is not to debate every single issue facing Escambia County. It's to listen, learn, and better understand the specific concerns surrounding the Bankhead Pit and the proposed ECUA transfer station and how they may affect Bellevue, the Bellevue community. For me, these are quality of life issues for you guys. You guys live here, I don't, but I represent you. So it's on me to make sure you have all the information that you get. All right, thank you again. Now I want to introduce Don Palmer. He's the Acting Director of Engineering and Environmental Services at Emerald Coast Utility Authority. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, yeah, Roger.
Thank you, Commissioner Strobert. Appreciate this opportunity to come and present because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what we are proposing. My name is Don Palmer. I am the Acting Executive Director. Some of you may have seen or read that our Executive Director retired last month. We have a new one that should start next month if everything works out. So I have this position for just a short while. But anyways, we prepared tonight a short presentation on the transfer station and what exactly is the transfer station, what it'll look like, how it will work, just what we're proposing, the benefits of the transfer station to you, to us, to the environment. So with that, we've also brought a team of people here to answer whatever questions you have. I have with us Tommy Fitzpatrick. He's a Deputy Executive Director over sanitation. I have Gary Dean, who is a manager of sanitation. We have our Public Information Officer here, Davis Wood, Evan Robertson, the project manager for the project, and Stacy Hayden, our Director of Engineering. Stacy's going to give the presentation. I would ask that you hold your questions and answers to the end because he'll probably answer it in the presentation later, and if not, we will ask them at the end. And that way we can get through it, and then we can answer all your questions. So with that, Stacy, go ahead and provide the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Wow. Good evening, everyone. My name is Stacy Hayden. As Don said, I'm the Director of Engineering here at ECUA. Been here for quite some time. It's nice to see a lot of people out here, a lot of people that are concerned about the community and what we are proposing for the community. I respect your time. I'll try to be brief with the presentation to get through it because I know we want to get to your questions. Regarding that, please hold your questions to the end. Also, I want us to all just kind of take a pause here for a second with what you think you may know, and please get your information from this presentation. I'll get with you, sir. So we got a lot of information to provide. There's some details out there that aren't accurate, and this is what I'm here to clarify. Okay. So this presentation is about the ECUA facility modernization, which includes a transfer station. Tonight's agenda, we'll have the mission statement of ECUA, a background and history of the site, what the proposed facility is versus what it is not, existing operational challenges and the impacts of maintaining the current system and status quo, and what the project is designed to accomplish. Our mission at ECUA is to promote the quality of life of the Emerald Coast by providing water, wastewater, and sanitation services in an effective and efficient manner. ECUA does not regulate growth. This is important. We must adapt to it. We don't manage growth. We must adapt to it. Escambia County has done a great deal of bringing development to this area, and we want to make sure that we adapt to it appropriately. We must modernize our facilities to keep pace with growth while protecting the quality of life in our community. That's nothing that we shy away from. Your concerns are concerns that we take very seriously. A lot of them are our same concerns, as you'll see when we show you what the original design was, or what a transfer station you would typically think of, versus what ECUA's design is currently. We understand the concerns that have been raised. I believe some of them have been about potential odors, traffic congestion, property values, and we're all committed to addressing each one with facts and thoughtful planning. A little bit of background, this property has been used for a sanitation operations site for more than 50 years. First with the Gibbs family, then with Escambia County, and then with ECUA since 1993. Modernizing an existing public service site, not taking any property, and we're not introducing a new use to the area. I repeat, we're not taking anybody's property. We're using the existing property that we have to site this transfer station, should it move forward. We're also planning for modernization of the existing sanitation site, and this began in 2020. We started with an original typical transfer station design, and I'll show that, but we scrapped that idea and went with a much more neighborhood-friendly version. Lastly, Escambia County Commissioners approved a future land use needed for the proposed modernization project back in, I believe it was 2022.
What does that mean?
We'll get questions at the end, sir. We'll have questions at the end, sir, and I'll clarify everything then if you please. So, additional background, additional property was purchased on the north end of the site for greater separation and buffering from the surrounding properties. This project has progressed through environmental permitting and local development review with the required review ongoing. We have received the DEP sanitation facilities permit. We're going through the DRC DRC process right now, and this meeting is part of that process. We have also received $3 million in state appropriations, and this was approved, I think, back in 2023, and it was supported by a local representative, and this in turn reduces the financial burden placed on ECUA's ratepayers to fund this project by ourselves. So moving on, the location of the site, again, I said this was at ECUA facilities. For those of you that can see, let's see here. This little square right here represents basically the footprint of the proposed facility. It's the traffic will ingress and egress off of Pine Forest Road. That's where our sanitation vehicles currently come in and come out of. There will be no change there. There will be no additional traffic as a result of this project. Excuse me.
Excuse me, sir, can you talk a little louder?
Sure.
Can you speak up?
Talking to him?
Test. Whoa, that's loud.
A little better.
A little better? All right, well, roll on. Okay, as I mentioned, if you couldn't hear me, I did say that we purchased roughly a 4.5 acre property on the north side of the ECUA property. This is going to be used as a mature woodland buffer to basically help buffer out noise and odors. It's a little hot. Test. Okay. I'll try to be closer to the microphone, so I apologize. First, I wanted to kind of bring up what a traditional transfer station looks like and what I think has been spread out there erroneously. This is not what ECUA is proposing. This is what a typical transfer station would look like, where garbage is just dumped on the floor, odor goes everywhere, debris goes everywhere. It's a nasty facility. Nobody likes this type of facility. Garbage is then scooped up with a front end loader and then dumped into an open top truck usually, and then hauled off to a landfill. Again, this is not what ECUA is doing. Rather than that, this is our proposed design on the right. As some of you can see, and we got a little picture over there, our trucks will dump the waste into a compactor. From the compactor, it will go directly into a trailer that will be hauled to the landfill. And it's important to note that this trailer, I'll show you to the right, it's an enclosed top. It's fully encapsulated. So we even did that to try and cut down the odor potential for this project. Next, I have a proposed site plan. The green area here, let's see if I can get this pulled up here. The green area here, green square, that represents the footprint of the proposed facility. Again, all the truck traffic for the sanitation collection vehicles and the transfer station trailers will come in and out off of Pine Forest Road. They'll come in, the sanitation collection vehicles come in, come around up the ramp, into this one door, this one opening on the second floor, into this enclosed facility, back up to the compactors, dump the waste to the compactor, from the compactor into the to the trailer. The trailers will then take the waste, back out the same road, and then up to the Cordillera landfill. Also, I'd like to point out, this is existing property, and this up here, where it's not quite shown, but there is a 4.5 acre piece of property that ECUA purchased in good faith to provide additional buffering between us and its neighbors. There's also a vegetative buffer about 150 feet between the backside of the building and its next property owner here. This will also be an enclosed building on this side, so it's not open to both create odor spread and for noise mitigation. This is obviously, it's a rendering. For those of you who can't see, I apologize for that. The trucks will come in on the backside. There's one entrance and exit. Actually, let me just flip over here. The trucks will come in this door, go in and out of the same door. They back up to the compactors. The compactors then transfer the waste from the compactors into a trailer that will then take it to the landfill. This side over here, again, you can see there aren't any doors on this side. This side would be facing Pine Forest Road and had limited visibility from Pine Forest Road. So basically, why are we wanting to do this? Why are we needing to do this? I'm going to go over a few operational challenges that we have and the impacts if we don't adapt to those challenges. ECUA currently depends on facilities that it's outside of its direct control. Right here, all these papers in this booklet represent one time of day over the past year that the existing transfer facilities were not operational, where ECUA couldn't operate and had to close down early. That is a large part of why we need this project in addition to adapting to growth.
Can you expand on that? I don't understand.
I'll get to your questions here in a minute, sir. I got to get through the presentation. So, the existing transfer options do not provide contingency capacity for recyclable materials during maintenance or unexpected downtime. Basically, there aren't any transfer stations in Escambia County that handle the recyclable materials. They have to be carried directly to the landfill, and that's not an option. Our facility would provide for that process. Garbage trucks without a transfer station must travel longer distances to go to the landfill, get delayed at the landfill, at the lines to dump, and then to get back into service and then start doing their original job that they were intended for, to pick up sanitation. These longer trips increase roadway exposure, vehicle wear, and the potential for operational delays. Again, it's no rocket science that if a sanitation truck is driving, taking more time to drive to the landfill and back before it gets into service, that's a lot of wear and tear on the vehicles that could otherwise be spent doing what it's intended to do. We are also trying to keep pace with the growth in Escambia County, and this makes it difficult to provide reliable, efficient service for our community if we don't adapt. So what does this facility provide? By design, it provides more odor control. Right now, the trucks, we have to store the trucks on site because the transfer facility closes down. We have nowhere to take all that garbage, and that garbage has to sit in the truck outside of the existing facility. With the transfer station, these trucks can be taken inside the building, they can be compacted and go into an enclosed container. The doors can be closed, and then it helps to mitigate the odors. The next thing it does, it reduces the traffic congestion. The ratio of the sanitation trucks to the dump trailer, to the trailer that takes the loads to the landfill, is approximately close to 4 to 1. So in other words, 4 sanitation collection trucks will dump compacted and then be emptied into the transfer trailer. The next thing this will do is preserve property values.
That's wrong. That's your opposite of what's gonna happen.
Yes, sir.
You
So,
damn well know it.
no, sir, I'm not gonna. So the point here is to provide you information. I'm gonna give you the information. You can do it with it what you will. Please give me the same respect. Give me the same respect I'm gonna give you, and we'll go from there. The reason I'm saying it's gonna preserve your property values. This is an existing sanitation facility. There's going to be no new nuisance created by this transfer station. If we were to have provided or tried to design and force on the community another type of transfer station that just dumped it on the floor, there would be a valid argument there. This is not that. We're doing everything we can to mitigate the odor concern, mitigate the traffic. You said you wanted to reduce traffic congestion. This will do that. Next thing we have, expanding our recycling capabilities. I'm being redundant. I'm kind of repeating myself there. Again, this facility would have recycling capabilities to have it as a transfer station. Right now, Escambia County doesn't have one, nowhere in Escambia County. Reliability and operational redundancy. For redundancy, some folks don't know what redundancy is. The best way I can explain that, if you're taking a passenger jet, typically they have at least 2 engines on them. If one engine fails, at least the other one can get you to safety. That's what redundancy is for us. If a line goes down in the process, we still have additional compactors, we have additional trucks. All this is on ECUA. This is what we do. This is what we do well, and can provide those backups as needed, particularly during hurricanes. Now, during hurricanes, we're trying to get garbage processed as soon as we can to get the trucks back on the road to collect trash, because that's the last thing you want is when you're dealing with hurricane debris, is for your trash not to be picked up. The last thing for this facility is going to be a cleaner and much safer facility design as compared to other options. Again, when you throw garbage on the floor, who wants to work there? And when you do work there, are you going to step in the garbage? There will be accidents and things like that we're trying to recognize as an issue and address those concerns through a proper design. So in summary, we are modernizing an existing sanitation site. That's part of this process. It's antiquated, it needs to be updated, and that's what we're trying to do. We're creating a modern facility design to improve odor control, cleanliness, and operational safety. We're reducing long-distance garbage truck travel to provide longer life to our garbage trucks. We're providing greater service reliability and contingency capacity. Also, we're strengthening hurricane preparedness, our fleet efficiency, and ECUA's ability to serve a growing Escambia County. We have grown leaps and bounds over the past 10 to 15 years, and I think everybody in this room knows it. That's what we're doing. We don't manage growth, we adapt to it, and that's what this is here to do. Moving forward, this responsible design that supports reliable service while protecting the surrounding community is what we're proposing. And with that, I told you I'd make this, try to shorten it up as much as I can. I appreciate your time, everybody being respectful, and at this time I'd like to call up my team and take any questions you may have.
Let's not talk out of line, no more calling anyone a liar and all that stuff, okay? That's all right. Okay, who's first? Jacob, right there.
Don and Tommy, you guys want to come in?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I've done a little research on these transfer stations, and typically people do not notice odor smells from them when they have odor neutralizing misters. And I did not see anything about odor neutralizing misters in your presentation. Will you be having those in the facility?
We will have those in our design. If they're needed, we will implement them immediately. We're not going to wait around. Also, there are other options for odor control that we will evaluate if there becomes a need for that. Sorry, who's next? Who's got the room? Sorry, thank you. I'm sorry, okay, to clarify, the misters are included with the design and to be put in operation as needed, so.
Okay.
I can for you.
Sorry?
I can hold it for you.
Okay, great. Hey, I've got a couple of statements to make, and then I got some questions since Vicki Campbell isn't here to answer them. The biggest issue I have with this entire scenario is not the fault of the commissioner, it's the fault of the county. There's no notice given to the residents around this ECUA facility or the other debris pit. We need to fix that. There needs to be an indoor, in your front door notice or a mailbox notice that this is going to go down for this town hall meeting, which is why we're basically so empty here. If everybody knew about it, they'd be here. I drove around the neighborhoods, nobody, zero, knew about this if they weren't on the commissioner's email distribution list. That's a problem. Okay, number two, nobody I talked to wants this, and skip down here. That's a solution. Okay, first question, is ECUA a for-profit organization?
No, we are a special district. in the state of Florida, 5-member board. We are not a for-profit organization
You are a
whatsoever.
for-profit organization. Don't try to paint that pig with lipstick any other way. You guys made $750,000 in 2023. I don't know what you made last year, but you're a for-profit organization. You were allowed to use the word authority in your name by the state of Florida about 7 years ago. Okay, so you're in the business of making money. Okay, that's why you guys pay the county for the landfills to dump there. So don't try to paint that pig that lipstick with that color.
Well, that's inaccurate, sir. I appreciate your opinion, and we'll
Well, I'll tell you
take
what.
it in good faith. Thank you.
The idea with this transfer station is, what's being lost in the weeds is, it's behind Calvary, I think it is Church, where you calling that area a buffer zone.
Yes, sir.
Walmart Marketplace, the Speedway, and I got a call from the Coach and Ford Steakhouse and all the people on the strip malls at Walmart and the fairgrounds, okay? You can't sit here and tell us that there isn't going to be any odor from this. I live 3 miles as a crow flies from there. I don't really think, this ain't my dog, ain't my pony show, okay?
So I'll be clear. I'm not saying there won't be any odors from this. This design includes features to reduce the odor potential.
I'll
You
give
need to be
you that,
fully- I
okay?
want to be fully clear on that.
Okay, so let's also be
Yes, sir.
clear that there's a rodent problem that's gonna be increased, mosquitoes, horseflies, and all that.
No, sir.
And property
I don't
values
agree.
will go down. Ask any realtor in this room. If you live within 2 miles of a sanitation station, your property value will go down. That is a fact.
So with regard, you got a few things to highlight there with regard to the rodent issue. I'm pretty certain that this will cut down on the rodent issue, because we don't have garbage trucks that would sit out in the open overnight because we don't have a place to dump this waste.
Yeah, but there's
That's
gonna be
what this
waste
is
in
to
there,
do.
so you're gonna have an increased rodent problem. And by the way, you got a church right behind you, all right? You got a steakhouse right behind you, you got Walmart around the corner, all right? And you got the residents all around that.
And we also have a pest control program that we won
I'm
once a
sure you
week for our
do. So
program.
do I. It's called RAID.
I want to make sure the information gets out there to the.
So here's the thing, you're building a $15 million facility, right?
We estimate that's the cost.
Right, okay. So first of all, why are we being billed $1 on each of our 84,000 resident bill? $1 for a transfer station that doesn't exist? Why is that?
That's what we have proposed to fund.
Not proposed, it's happening right now. It happened last month.
Yes,
and
sir.
the month before.
So, okay, that's what is going on right now to fund the proposed facility.
So you're funding
That was-
something, you're
that
making
was
us
the
pay
way-
for something that doesn't exist right now.
May I respond? Okay, that is the way our board chose to fund this project.
I don't care.
Out of capital funding of this nature on each bill rather than other funds. Plus,
God's
we
sake.
went out and got a $3 million appropriations to help out, sorry.
Tell you what, that's why your billing process needs to be investigated by Don Gates' office. All right?
I believe the
You're gonna
money's all
increase-
being set aside into an account to pay for the transfer station.
You're gonna increase our bills by 6% and $3 on top of that 6%, supposedly until this $15 million facility is proposed.
I don't know where you're
It's-
getting
it's
that
paid off.
information. Sir, that is not
Incorrect.
accurate information.
It's published on the website.
Not about this transfer station, sir.
Yeah, it is. Go look at your own website. Go look at the reviews.
Yes, sir. Okay, we do have some other questions too, but go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. You know, ECUA CSO John Woody is salary at $241,000 a year. It's $250,000 a year. Why don't you guys fix your own trucks instead of building this transfer station? I drove by that station, your location. You got 50 trucks ready to go pick up trash, sitting there ready to go. Good for you. You got 150 trucks in disrepair at that facility that could be fixed and do the job of this transfer facility that doesn't need to be done. You're saying you gotta shorten routes and stuff so you don't have to go back twice? If you fix your own equipment, you won't need this thing.
No, sir. I disagree. Part of this project is to reduce the wear and tear on our vehicles. So if we repair them and they still keep getting the same wear and
That's
tear.
why we're paying
you
you.
know,
We do repair, sir.
We do
have
repair.
Mechanics on duty, we repair
I've
our
been
trucks
talking
all
with
the
Vicki
time.
Campbell about this for 10 years
Okay,
now.
sorry, I think we need to move on, sir. There are a number of people that are asking questions, so thank you.
That's what I got there.
Yes, the gentleman behind you, sorry. Hey there.
Two questions. One, are all the collection streams going to go to this facility?
No, sir. So it's, go ahead.
So the yard waste is not going to go to this facility?
Correct.
Just the recycling and the household garbage?
Correct. Just those two.
Okay? So what's the impact of compacting the recycling into mega quads? And then taking it out to the recycling sorting facility for then to have to be torn apart to further sort? It just seems like it's,
Good question.
it hurts things as opposed to making the recycling process more economically sufficient.
Absolutely.
The second question I have for you is, will ECOA trucks continue to drive between Mobile Highway and 9 Mile on Beulah Road when it's clearly marked as a no truck thoroughfare?
Okay, so on the first question about the compacting of the recycling, we do that now. I mean, Okaloosa County, not Okaloosa, Santa Rosa County brings it from their transfer station to us, compacted, put in there. We get it from Mississippi, we get some from Alabama and compacted already. So we are a single stream MRF, so everything's already pulled apart in there. This will save 3 truckloads from going up and down, like you said, Mobile Highway and so forth, because it'd be 1 tractor trailer going down instead of 3 to 4 of our recycle trucks.
So the tractor trailers are going to go down Mobile Highway to Beulah to the landfill?
No, sir. Normally we would go up to the Interstate 10.
So you get on that, Operation 65 and get up on Beulah?
He asked a question about all routes coming here. The routes in the northern part of the county will not come to this transfer, so they'll go to the closest, they'll go to the dump because it's up closer, they'll go to the landfill because it's closer. So
Yeah,
it's not
that's
all
on Tuesdays.
coming here.
Thank you.
Sorry, we got 2 gentlemen,
I think he had.
gentleman right behind you.
Brian from number. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
First, one thing important to know about this district is that many of us have been in this district for multiple generations. I mean, many of us, grandparents, great-grandparents have been in this district. So we tend to think about our grandkids when we think about how it affects the community. So when we talk about maybe the next 5 to 10 years, sure, there may not be a property value impact, and there may not even be impact that we see, but if we start thinking 25, 30 years, how will this affect our community 30 years from now? And is there enough data that you have to say that maybe in 30 years we'll start to see some things that we didn't see now? Because if we use it consistently, in 30 years, some wear and tear will happen that may affect our grandkids. So 30 years down the line, what do you see being some of the challenges to this community so we can know in advance?
Yes, sir. I would say simply, if you look at ECUA facilities, you look at our water reclamation facilities, you look at our lift stations, you look at what we do now and how we maintain our facilities. We do a very good job with that, and I'll challenge anybody here that says otherwise. So for the next 30 years, if we continue those operations, that's what we expect to have. A good-looking site, a site that we aren't having to store garbage in garbage trucks overnight, where the kids walk by for school right down the road from us and have to smell that smell. These facilities are geared to stop that.
Is it probably going to expand in that time period over 30 years?
I want to say that it will not, because we have inside, we have extra bays. There are 5 bays in this facility, and we plan on using 2 to 3 of them to begin with, and it has some room for expansion within that building. So there shouldn't be any footprint expansion, but maybe some expansion of equipment inside the existing building, or the proposed building, excuse me.
Will trucks be coming from Beulah?
No, sir.
They will, they'll go the other way.
Correct.
Closer.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. One, you said no more traffic is gonna be involved. Well, I don't buy that. You said the traffic's gonna enter and exit off of Pine Forest Road.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna tell me that them trucks aren't gonna come down Godwin Lane and turn right on Pine Forest? Because Godwin Lane, in the 28 years I've lived on that street, the traffic has gotten horrendous.
Yes, sir.
And if you try to make a right turn onto Pine Forest Road, the people coming from Mobile Highway to go north on Pine Forest think that's the start of the Indianapolis 500.
Yes, sir. I get it. I live on a similar street.
So you're looking
I'll
for a
respond.
major
Yes, sir.
accident to happen. Godwin Lane is nothing but filled potholes now. And all you're gonna do is bring more trucks down it?
Well, I want to respond for just a second, if I may. So, yes, sir, let me respond to that one, and I'll follow back up with you. So, there will be no increased traffic on Godwin Lane. We still have to go down Godwin Lane with the sanitation trucks to pick up garbage from existing residential customers and so forth. So, those trucks are supposed to go up to Pine Forest Road and then enter and exit from Pine Forest Road. It doesn't make any sense for collection vehicles that aren't in that area picking up garbage to use that area as a cut through. We take the bigger roads that are more built for that and try to go around.
I
So,
don't understand that because I know all the trucks leave from Godwin Lane and go do their routes and stuff. And you're gonna tell me,
Sir, no, sir. They don't go off of Godwin Lane. They enter and exit from
boy,
Pine Forest Road.
you ain't setting my front yard then, have you?
Your site plan shows
So-
a driveway.
I live in the driveway next to
You
it.
get that?
That is an existing road off of Pine Forest.
There you go.
So this is an existing, if I may,
Lane's off the map.
Yeah, exactly. So Pine Forest, they're still going to go on Pine Forest Road, impact traffic coming from Mobile Highway, is what he's saying.
I'm hearing something different. He's asking about Godwin Lane, sir, and I'll go back to your
I
question.
think his question was about Mobile Highway intersecting with that.
You tell me, sir, what was your question about? Was it about the?
I wanna know if you're gonna increase the traffic on Godwin Lane for all the trucks coming back to go to this transfer
No,
station.
sir.
You know,
No, sir.
how they gonna get there? They gonna go down to Michigan and then come up?
So unless collection vehicles are already going down Godwin Lane to collect trash from those neighborhoods on Godwin Lane and to the east and where they have to come down Godwin Lane, those trucks would remain coming through Godwin Lane, but ultimately, they would come up, turn right on Pine Forest Road if they're coming from the east, and then turn right into the facility with this entrance and exit, which is already for our sanitation vehicles, and they already use. This is just an improved exit to allow for those longer bed trucks to come
Right
in and
across
out.
from Walmart and all the traffic that's on Pine Forest Road already, you're gonna add that. Now, I know you're not gonna change your mind because you people are gonna do exactly what you wanna do anyway, no matter what we think. But my most important question is, everything I've read researching this is that even a state-of-the-art finest transfer station will reduce my home's value by up to 20%. Now, are you or the county gonna compensate me that for not just today's value, but 5 years from now or 10 years from now? Because I rely on my home's value to take care of my wife after I'm dead. So she'll have funds to take care of herself.
I think it's unfair to characterize for the property value.
Yeah!
There is an existing sanitation facility there now. If this was a raw piece of land and we were putting a sanitation facility into a raw piece of land, yes, I would agree with you. But this will be an improvement to the site that's there now.
He done said that there's still gonna be odor. Now, you can't tell me somebody gonna come down to my house and wanna buy it if there's some odor. Even the perception of a transfer station is enough to tell people they don't wanna live on that street. And that's a fact, Jack.
The garbage trucks are there now.
Land value goes down, within 2 miles of the sanitation station,
The sanitation is existing.
in this document.
No. Any state-of-the-art.
Okay.
Being honest, yes, sir.
All right, I have my bill, but I ain't gonna listen to it anyway.
There you go.
Good evening. Just had a question for you. You were talking about your fleet efficiency is going to be raised 4 to 1, basically, for every 4 trucks, you're going to have 1 of these transport vehicles going back and forth?
Approximately
Okay.
3 to 3.5, close to
And
4
you're gonna,
basis.
it's going to streamline everything. I mean, operational delays are going to go down, wear and tear on the trucks are going to go down, maintenance costs are going to go down for your vehicles, for your fleets, correct?
Correct.
Why then is our bill going up?
There is, there is no proposed sanitation, excuse me, there is no proposed sanitation increase to fund this year.
It's
For
already been,
operations.
it's online.
It's for
You guys
operations.
publicized it. It's online.
I'll let Tom know.
6% and $3 per
I
bill.
thought,
Until the $15 million is paid off. It's on your own website.
Okay, so to answer your question, sir, efficiencies will be made when we do get a transfer station. Right now, as of what he was showing you right here, this is how many times throughout the year, just 12 months, these are every single day that the current transfer station has been broken down. So if you have a route, just like a school bus route, picking up kids and so forth, and the school was not there anymore, like this, we can't dump there. So we have to go all the way to the landfill when we're already in Pedito. So it's right there. So as of the efficiency, as of you're saying, as of raising rates and so forth, as of if you look at the budgetary part of it, the operational expenditures for the last 2 years have been zero increase in that. The only parts that's in there is for the employees itself, for their 4%.
For cost of living.
Yes, cost of living adjustment, correct. Other than that, if you go back and look in it, which is public information for the last 2 years, zero increase whatsoever in sanitation for operational.
Okay, but the proposed increase on our bill is already up. It's already posted. That's my big question is, I understand logistics.
Right.
I've done logistics for 22 years. I understand logistics.
Yes.
With your fleet operating better, shouldn't if the fleet starts operating better,
Correct.
and you publish, hey, this is what our sanitation workers do earn,
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure everybody in here would be more willing to accept the increase.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
what we're seeing right now is because this is what's proposed, this is how we're gonna get our money back.
Right.
And that is why, sorry, I'm getting a little upset. That is why I am opposed to having my rates increased off of something that has zero impact on how it actually runs.
Oh, totally understand that, sir. Like I said, though, if you go back last 2 years, sanitation budget, 0% increase when it comes to operational
Okay.
ask. So it's zero right this second. Like I said, the reason I can't give back even more money is because every single day, pretty much, I'm turning around and driving another 60 miles back and forth. Whenever that truck could be picking up, like you said, you're in logistics, you want those trucks to stay in the
Yeah, the last
community.
mile, I get the last mile.
Yes,
I understand very
absolutely.
well.
Absolutely. But in order to do that, I have to have this to get the efficiencies.
Okay.
You see what I mean? But as of right now, the last 2 years, 0% increase
Now, along with
in
that,
operational.
The gentleman up there was talking about how, 5,200, so we're talking about 20 to 25% of your vehicle fleet is operational at any given time, or what are we looking at for
I
percentage-wise?
didn't understand any of that whatsoever because we don't have an additional 150 vehicles or anything
Okay,
like that,
so
sir.
on a regular basis,
Yes, sir.
what
No, I don't, sir.
percentage of your fleet is actually operational?
What percentage of our fleet is operational?
Yes.
Right this second, right at 87% right this second. Yes, sir, because the majority of them, the 10% of them on a daily basis, like you said, you're in logistics, 10% are in for PMs, daily PMs, because you have to do preventive maintenance of vehicles.
So the
And so-
10% is your plus or minus, that's your?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, good evening. My name is Steve, and I've been long enough resident of Pensacola to know that somebody here sold the city a sewage treatment plant downtown and provided a wall around it saying that there would be no odor. How did that work out for you? There's going to be odor, it's going to stink, and you know it. And what are we going to do about it?
We've incorporated into the design to keep this enclosed as possible, okay? As possible. Well, you gotta have a door to get in and out, but other than that, it's enclosed, okay? And then we have provided in the design some misters if there is an odor. This is going from one truck to another truck. It's not sitting on the floor It's not being exposed to the atmosphere for other than 20, 30 seconds when it dumps and then gets pressed into another truck.
The gentleman's been very patient over here with PHS shirt on. Yes, sir. Oh,
Go ahead.
Where do you all live?
Okay.
That part. That part.
One at a time.
Yeah.
This side, this side, this side, this side.
As a follow-up, follow-up.
This is my first of all, my first concern is your organization, I believe, should have a public information office or a marketing team that would get communication out prior to tonight or this week. It appears that you already had a plan, pretty much close to executing the plan, and then at the last minute, want to notify us that it's going to impact. Because last night, I got a knock on my door less than 24 hours ago. Had I not gotten that knock on the door, I would have known that this was taking place right in my neighborhood. So the question is, why would not you take the time, efforts, if you're really considering the constituents of this community, to come before you get to this place?
That's right. That's right.
If you really valued and was going to value our input and not make us feel like we're just coming here now aftermath, why would you not come beforehand so that it can really feel like what we say make a difference? Right now, you already have a PowerPoint presentation. You've already been charging us on our bill, so it looks like this is something that can make your company feel good that you came to the community. But in actuality, you're not coming to the community. You're coming to force something upon a community that says we don't want this. And so, with that being said, what studies have been done for the environmental issues, the traffic coming in and out? You have places of worship that is surrounding that place. You have residents. What studies in like comparison communities that have already undergone this type of circumstance, and what were the results from that community? What were the 10, 20, 30-year results of the environmental studies? And if that has taken place, why haven't you shown that to us before you brought this to this point? So there's a lot of questions that need to go out. I don't think we have the time, and this is not the venue, but I would recommend, if you are to do things like this, put the brakes on first and start going to the community before you say this is what we desire. See what we want and see the impact that we're going to have. And that's my only comment for tonight, because I have 12 to 15 questions that I don't think that you're adequately prepared to answer. But if you would have communicated earlier and given us time to sit down before you got to this stage, I don't think we would be right here on tonight. So thanks.
Let me respond a little bit to that. We were invited here to get public input, to get your input. We have to go before the county commission. We have to do notices to the property owners within 2,500 feet, I believe, of the property.
Did you do that?
We're not there yet. We're here to get public input, to get your feedback, to see what we can do before we go to the county commission. This is a county publicly advertised meeting, and you'll have, well, we also did a rezoning in 2022 where residents around there were notified.
So, hold on, everybody. So, I want to start, and don't boo me for doing this. I want to thank ECUA for coming out here to do this, okay? Thank you for coming out here. I didn't expect this to be an ambush, but I kind of thought it would be. This is my 6th town hall. I know how they turn out. I knew how, I had a pretty good gauge on how this was going to turn. I know how everyone feels about this. For us, what we should be thinking about, well, this is the first meeting. I had a meeting with them about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And this is when the earliest time we could schedule this meeting. So that's why we're having it now. I wanted to have it as soon as possible. I didn't want them to have any more investment in what they're doing before, we say we're not going to approve it, or we're not going to give you any permits. So for me, that transfer station is 7 miles from the other transfer station. The county's transfer station is 11 miles from the dump.
Where's the other one?
We're going to lose, there's a county one, there's a city one too, and we're going to lose, I think what Andy told me, the Director of Waste Services, is we're going to lose about $800,000 a year in revenue because of this transfer station.
Where's that?
And, well, I don't know, I've never been to the transfer station.
Street.
Yeah.
Palace Street, right?
So-
A commercial only dump that ECUA is not allowed to use because it's a commercial debris dump for debris when you knock down a house.
Yeah.
ECUA doesn't
So,
pick up that type of stuff.
it's hard for ECOA to come in here and say, we got dump trucks and we got garbage and we're going to transfer stuff in here. It's hard to do that. So that's why I want to thank them for making the attempt to do that. Okay, so don't be too hard on them. They're still running a business and they're trying to run the business as efficiently as they possibly can. That's why they're here. And then they're going to get input and they're going to take it in and we're going to listen to at the county, and we're gonna make a collective decision. You already know how I feel about this. Does everyone doubt how I feel about this? Or what you do? You doubt what I? No, I'm not for it. I haven't been since. Are you? Is that?
We're with you, Steve.
When I first was running for this job, and you guys said you got the job, I was, and my wife was with me. We were at, I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's not getting any better. Oh, hi. At Brooke's grandma's house, in the driveway talking about this. I saw the farm, I saw the proximity to the farm, I saw Godwin Lane and Community Drive, and right up the road is Pine Forest High School, and it's a neighborhood. Nobody wants this in their neighborhood. Nobody does.
Yeah.
No one wants this, but there they are. So I wasn't on the county commission when this was zoned for this, but it was zoned for this. So we're gonna have to work things out. We're gonna have to figure things out, and that's what they're here to do too. Okay?
It's unzoning. It's unzoning.
You guys want to retire?
I have a question.
No, we can. Thanks. Okay. Where is Meredith?
I just have one question.
Okay. Okay. You ask your question? Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have it for you. See. I have a question for y'all. I'm Francesca. I'm running for Florida House District 1. A gentleman asked a question that triggered my mind about saving money. He was talking about by building this facility, it would save money, especially that you're taking, I get water bills, and when you start preempting, taking $1 a month and putting it in a savings, and you don't even know, like the commissioner said, if it's going to be approved. He says if they're going to approve it. And you said in the future it's going to save money. Why haven't you, in this community who is not aware from it, why haven't you given future money? And say if this doesn't get approved, are you going to give it back to this community? What if the commissioner?
$4,000 a month.
Yeah, say if the commissioner said, we did not approve this facility. Are you going to give that money back? And why haven't you, to make them feel better, to bring the water bill? Because I know my water bill never goes down. I'm just saying this as a normal person. And I see what I consider a junk fee to me. Why haven't you say, in 5 years, by building this facility, this is how you're going to save money because this is going to do that. That would probably make them feel better. And I don't think until then, that's not going to make them feel better. And if it doesn't get approved, you should not be preempting putting it in a savings account, because I'm sure that makes them feel like you're taking their money, stealing their money. And that is something that should be told to them. And I'm just saying that not only as someone, I'm saying that as someone who is a water user, someone as a resident, and someone that's very concerned for running for office. And those are things that why I run, because I feel like companies like y'all just take things without telling people why and will it be returned if something's not approved.
All right, so we're not there yet. We're a long way from making those kinds of decisions. So this isn't just an Easy Way problem. This has been a county problem too. And Andy at Waste Services, our director there, had told me that we haven't been that good at the transfer station. And we've increased our ability to take in whatever, and we've made improvements there. So we're hoping those improvements are gonna help them make a decision, that we want them is to keep using our transfer station, all right? Let me bring it, we can talk afterwards. Let me bring Meredith Bush up to talk about
to be here. So my name is Meredith Bush. I am a local attorney. I've been in Pensacola 20 years. I am board certified in city, county, local government law, and a certified land use planner. Much like was shared in the last presentation, we are here very preliminarily to just let you know what may be coming to your area. We're here by invitation of the County Commission. So this is public information, public input. There will be, and as you'll see in my presentation, there will be hearings before the Board of Adjustment, which everyone within a radius will get a notice, and there will be hearing before the Board of County Commissioners and Planning Board.
Excuse me, I understand you're an attorney, but who do you work for?
The property owner,
Who is the property owner?
Shavers Construction.
Not Fire Pit?
No, so,
Which Fire Pit?
no, sir.
So-called company.
No, sir. The property owner is the applicant for the county, and it's Shavers Construction owns the site.
Okay, what's his relationship with Fire Waste Pit?
So there is an operator, it's the Fire Waste Pit Group. They are not the property owner or the applicant. And I'm going to go through the presentation, and I know you have a lot of questions. I'm sure you're going to grill me afterwards like you did the last group, but I'm going to do my best. Happy to hand out. Well, sir, with all respect. So let me just get through this. So I'm going to do the presentation, and then we have a short video clip that's going to show you the technology to be used. Then I'll take questions, hand out my cards, and happy to connect with you after the fact. Just so you know, this is an existing permitted borrow pit. It's already been dug out, it's already been excavated, so there's none of that. What we're talking about here is a new reclamation plan. Okay, so I'm going to start the presentation. I appreciate your patience, and I'm going to try to give you as much respect as possible. So let me start with our promise. This is a reclamation plan for an already disturbed permitted borrow pit. It's only going to address yard waste and vegetative debris. There will be no construction demolition debris, no trash. It's going to be trees, branches, untreated wood, land clearing debris, yard waste materials. No household garbage, no hazardous waste, no construction debris. All operations will stay inside the existing already disturbed footprint. And when it's filled and stabilized, it'll become a clean piece of property, and we believe a community asset. Now, the owner has a history of donating land to the county, and we have discussed whether or not this would be a park asset or a neighborhood amenity. And what I'm going to talk to you about is, we had the opportunity to seek heavy industrial zoning. Instead, we're actually going back to an agricultural zoning. So there'll never be intense neighborhoods. There'll never be industrial uses. It's very limited in a rural land use. And you're going to hear that the Board of Adjustment has to consider it, the Planning Board has to consider it, the County Commission has to consider it. But rather than take this up, we could have gone either way, right? We could have sought, in order to reclaim it, a heavy commercial light industrial use Instead, we're seeking agricultural residential and going back to a prior rural residential, which greatly limits, even if somebody did later, once it's a flat filled piece of land again, wanted to come in and do a neighborhood, it would be one house per 4 acres. So even 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when you're talking about your communities and your families, the future potential for this use after it's filled is going to be super low intensity. So why this site? Well, obviously because it's already an existing excavated pit. It's located near Bankhead Drive, west of Blue Angel Parkway. There's existing access. We have vegetative buffers, topographic separation. If you look at an aerial map, it's surrounded by other pits, and there are neighborhoods obviously on this side, and on the other side it's pit land. Stormwater will be retained within the engineered pit features, and again, it's an existing pit that's already been excavated. So what are we talking about that's going to happen on the site? Yard waste will be received and inspected. It's a state-of-the-art air burner technology utilized to burn yard waste and lane clearing debris. But hear me out, it's not open burning. There's a big difference between open burning and grinding versus this technology. You'll see some of the data. This is recognized as the best available control technology under the U.S. Clean Air Act. That's the most advanced, achievable method to control air pollution with this type of processing. So why does this technology matter? It's an engineered air curtain that controls the combustion zone and sharply reduces smoke compared to open burning. Again, it's state-of-the-art curtain combustion. There's high velocity air curtain that keeps the smoke and particles in the hot burn zone longer. There's less hauling, there's no visible smoke. You'll see a video of one of these operating. It doesn't produce, particles in the air. The emissions are low. There are tests. After the fact, take my card, I'll give you the reports, I'll give you the data. This is used across the country. Even the state of California, ECUA, other entities have recognized and accepted this as a best practice because we have to deal with the debris. It has to be dealt with. Again, it accepts clean, untreated wood, vegetative debris, yard waste only, a high velocity air curtain. So smoke control, not open burning. There's a 97% smoke reduction compared with open burning. With an open burn, you've got 80 to 100% opacity. Here, we have less than 10%. The air curtain, again, you'll see a video, acts like an invisible lid. It recirculates the particles back through the hottest zone and keeps burning it. And so what you're left with is an ash or a char. The proposed safeguards, yard waste only, contained processing, permitted controls, trained operation. So the bottom line is a regulated reclamation tool to reclaim the pit. There's a huge hole out there now. What are you going to do with it? How do you turn it back into usable property? This is the method we're asking for permission. It's not an open dump. Again, it's not construction and demolition debris. It's not garbage, and it's not open burning. As far as off-site impacts, we have to address these criteria in order to get the conditional use approval. Now, the first step, and I won't go too far into it, but is implementation of the savings clause. We have to do a small-scale amendment to revert it to agricultural. Again, all public hearings, you'll receive postcards in the mail. This is just a preliminary meeting. And then Board of Adjustment conditional use approval, at which we have to provide data and analysis showing we meet these criteria. So air and smoke, we've got FDP and fire safety compliance. For any dust, there are water trucks, stabilized drives, active dust suppression systems. Noise, you'll see it's a very quiet process as compared to grinding and other heavier yard waste processes. There'll be limited hours. Equipment is inside the pit, which is low and it's in a huge hole in the ground, so it's buffered. Traffic, Bankhead to Blue Angel Parkway, there's not going to be any cut through your neighborhoods. It's in a flood zone X, not in a wellhead protection. Stormwater is retained on site. There'll be fencing, posted signage, and dense vegetative screening. And here's, what we hope you will consider is the fact that this goes from a borrow pit, a hole in the ground, to a community asset. Passive recreation, walking trails, benches, parks. We don't have a final proposed plan, but you can seek county records to show where this owner, again, has donated property historically to the county. And so the fact that this will be given and be a piece of land that goes from a hole in the ground to a developable piece, and in the process not create smoke or dust or smells or anything like that, that would be a nuisance. So again, a community asset is the potential final use. So our timeline, again, this is preliminary. A few weeks before the meetings, you'll receive the postcards, but the meeting is scheduled right now for the Board of Adjustment. It's called a conditional use, and it's August 19th at 8:30 a.m. at the county building. Then it'll go before the Escambia County Planning Board on September 1st. The Board of Adjustment is for a conditional use. The Planning Board is for the small scale amendment. September 24th, this is going to be on the County Commission agenda. So we will be seeking, and those are public meetings, you can come, you can speak, you can ask questions. We'll be seeking approval at the Board of Adjustment, approval at the Planning Board, and approval at the County Commission. After all that, we still have to go through development review. Another committee, another public process with meetings where all of the technical details are reviewed, analyzed, scrutinized. Every department of the county, engineering, stormwater, traffic, they all review and provide comments, which we have to meet. After DRC, it goes back to the Board of County Commission for the operational permit. So again, this is preliminary. We're here by invitation just to let you know, hey, we're starting the process. When you get the card in the mail, this is what we're asking for. If you have questions, this is who you contact. And, as property owners, you all understand that, you have a right to develop and use your property. And in this case, we're asking to take a hole in the ground to assist with things like, hurricanes create a great amount of yard waste and tree debris. That the county, frankly, during a major storm event, needs a facility to dispose of that. Let's see. So next, I'm going to play the video. I want you to kind of pay. It's quick. It's very quick, but it's watch for the controlled burn chamber, the minimal visible. There's no visible smoke, but minimal rapid volume reduction in the ash or biochar management. And let me see if I can get this to play.
Why does it have to do this?
Okay.
This is way too fancy.
The air burner, I'll tell you, I don't know what I do without it. Best thing that ever happened to our company as far as what we do. We've changed our whole method of doing business rather than grind and try to sell mulch at a price where you can't afford to grind it and make it. So air burner's taking away all the overhead. We were burning 25 gallons an hour on the first grind and 35 gallons an hour on the second grind. We had loaders, we had excavators working, mechanics. Now we have me, I burn 1.5 gallons an hour tops with the air burner. With the price of fuel today, just that alone is one thing. And when you burn it, it's clean. The neighbors, they don't even know it's burning. I haven't had any complaints. The grinders were loud, noisy, and there are a lot of emissions, a lot of smoke. You don't see any of that now. In anything in life, everybody's looking for an edge. You're looking for the way to get the most out of everything you're using. That's what I was sold on, because I said, this is the best way to get rid of anything I've ever seen. I just can't believe how good it is. I'm just happy to be an owner of Air Burners. I wish them a lot of success. They deserve it because they created a good machine and a good way of solving a problem. I like it.
And And so now I'm happy to take questions. I did put a couple references up here. One is the Escambia County Land Development Code. I would encourage you to look at that, read the provisions. Now, I am not an expert in air burners. I've learned a whole lot in this project. I am an expert when it comes to planning and zoning, conditional uses, the land development code, things of that nature. So some of the questions, I'll probably have to hand you my card, make a note, and get back with you on it. I'd also encourage you to look at the airburners.com/resources. And I'm just gonna let them bring the mic to whoever, Hassan is indicating he has someone there to ask a question. Yes, sir. Sir, if you could sit in the front so I could see the gentleman speaking in the back. Thank you.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
I know that anytime you burn hydrocarbons, you also get nitrous oxides. That's completely invisible, and I know that the air curtains, you don't see any particulate matter, and I do appreciate that you make the effort to reduce the amount of smoke to nearly zero. But how far is it from residential areas? Because you would be burning a lot of wood in that area, and no matter how hard you try, when you burn hydrocarbons, you're going to create a lot of nitrogen oxides. And I know with like cars, you have catalytic converters that are able to get rid of nitrogen oxides, but you're just burning a lot of wood in a single place. If you burn a lot of nitrogen oxides next to people, you increase the risk of asthma and you increase the risk of lung disease. So what is it near a lot of people? How far out is it next to residential properties?
It's 20 feet away from my house. The pit is 20 feet away. The easement around the pit is owned by the Navy, last I checked. I'd like to know what they have to say about it. Do you have to ask their permission since?
The Navy would not have input. I mean, I'm happy to reach out to them. As far
as the vegetation buffer, right? The 20-foot easement that the Navy.
I can pull up, if you give me a second, I'm happy to go to my laptop and pull up an aerial map that shows the, versus just the map I had that actually shows the topography and distance. As far as your question, I honestly don't know the answer. I do know that the EPA has again rated this under the Clean Air Act as the best available control technology. That it's healthy, there are no emissions or no dangerous emissions. Now how the air burner, because it recirculates and burns that material again and again before you take out the ash, which doesn't go into the air. The testing, and I can give you the data and reports, the particulate matter is de minimis. And so I'll give you my card and I can get back to you on that. I'll also be happy to take these questions. I'll get the video, and what I'll do, I'll reach back out to Commissioner Strohberger and say, you asked about the military, you asked about the nitrous oxide, about the nitrous oxide. Let me go back, again, this is informational. Let me go back to my client. Let me go back to the experts in the science. I'm an attorney and a planner. I don't necessarily know the science, so let me get that information, give it to the commissioner so we can continue a respectful, interactive dialogue. Anybody, it's fine.
Hello.
Hi.
Is this going to be yard waste, like when people put plastic bags of yard waste out on the side of the street? Is that going to be stuff like that, or just bare things?
So no, typically, I mean, and ECUA is still here. I mean, they're the ones who collect the yard waste from individual residential yard waste. This is more, again, like hurricane damage, construction, but again, not construction and demolition debris, but untreated wood, land clearing. Say somebody buys the property and they clear all the trees or clear all the property and come up with large amounts of construction type levels of yard waste. So to my knowledge, there won't be, now whether or not there's a hurricane and FEMA comes in and they utilize all the sources and everybody puts their trees on the curb, I can't predict that, but as a general operational practice, it's not for your bags or your bags of leaves on the curbs, things like that.
Can I ask two more real quick?
Sure.
Do you know if there's going to be any safety things in place for the people working there? Because I assume if there's a flame, somebody's going to have to be there monitoring it to make sure nothing.
100%. 100%. There are OSHA guidelines. There are standards for operation of lane clearing debris facilities, borrow pits. All safety standards will be adhered to, you know, there are manuals and rules and training, and all of that will absolutely be in place.
Okay, and you're the lawyer for them, right?
I'm the attorney, yes.
Attorney, okay.
Yeah, lawyer, same thing.
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Can you put it in writing that it will be turned into a public park afterwards?
Yes, I mean, my client has been very sincere in his willingness to donate this to the community or the county. Now, you know, I have had cases, and I haven't spoken to him. I obviously have to confer with my client, but it's something I can get back to the county on, where we've deed restricted property and said this property will never be used for XYZ. And so there is the potential that we could absolutely come up with some sort of, you know, instrument that's recorded, it's binding to say this property will be used in, you know, after its useful life as this land clearing debris facility. And what the land clearing debris facility does is it fills the hole, right? Turns it back into land. And so once it's a usable piece, that it will be, if the county is willing to accept it, obviously they have to accept it, that it will be utilized in some beneficial way for the neighborhood. That's what's been represented to me. I'll go back to my client, ask that question, and be happy to include that in presentations to the county and in conversations with the commissioner, which he can get out to you through his network and processes. Thank you.
Good evening. Both presentations have talked about FEMA and how they're going to help FEMA. Well, FEMA comes in and offers the county to remove their own debris, or they bring in the Army Corps of Engineers, and y'all see it if you're here for Ivan and Savin, and they set up down on the base, and they set up big grinders, and FEMA's going to remove all that waste, and they go around and pick up at the curb, just like you said. But if, within the contract of the emergency management, they put in the contract that they pick up the waste, they grind it, they grind the plants, they grind everything, but it must leave the county. They don't use your facilities, nor should they. And these facilities shouldn't have anything to do with the hurricane business. That's FEMA's business, it's public assistance, and that's just how that system works. As far as your site, I would only worry about pickup trucks and other people. If they're not coming to your site, if they're not going to have mud left on the roadway, then that's not a big concern. But if all of your operation is contained on asphalt, concrete, and mud dumped right to the highway, that can cause our families to skid on mud and create an accident, then I would be concerned about that. So y'all need to do something to control that type of operation, like putting in a wash. In the military, we have washes that wash M1 tanks. They get in line and they go through the wash. There's washing cannons, they clean vehicles, and they've got to rent it, and not rent it, reserve it, but when they're going to do M1 tanks, and they come through the tank wash, there's cannons there to clean them, and then when they head the other way, all the dirt and mud's gone, and they're not cleaning, go back through again. So bringing any kind of debris or mud for both operations should wind up on the public highway that causes a safety hazard for the citizens. That's all I have.
I appreciate that, and I'm making a note that when we actually develop the site plan and operational plan, that we do include that. Now, I have worked years ago with a local government related to landfills and processing, and their regulations for, you know, more of the construction, demolition, debris, and other facility, like the true landfills that do require those, or even like asphalt processing. Again, this is not that, but those other plants that have the washes and have the requirements. And so this is exactly the kind of feedback we're looking for. I do appreciate the comment. I'm making a note. Mr. Jones, the director, is sitting there hearing me say, yes, we will absolutely look into the wash, or you're hearing me, sir, the other mechanisms to make sure, because, you know, again, we don't want to be a nuisance. You know, the owner has a long-standing member of this community. I love this community. I've been here 20 years. My husband, born and raised here. My son was born here. You know, nobody's trying to hurt the community. We are trying to operate a business fully compliant with the law, not as a nuisance, and again, ultimately turn this over as an asset to the community.
Hi. I have a few questions, actually. How do you
sure that it's untreated wood, because during the video, I saw a whole stack of pallets up in there. Most pallets are treated wood.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, other than the fact that if treated wood comes in, it would be rejected. But now how it's, you know, if there's a spotter, if there's some sort of, let me get back to the commissioner on that question.
And so as a property owner that travels Bankhead daily, multiple times, is this going to increase traffic down Bankhead and potentially also increase the risk of accidents at Bankhead and Blue Angel?
There will be minimal traffic increase. It would not be, you know, you're not gonna have 100 trucks going in there. You're not gonna have, again, the pit's already been dug out, so you're not gonna have the traffic that typically comes when you're actually excavating and carrying the dirt out. But yes, I mean, there, you know, any business, or if it were turned into a subdivision, or if it were turned into something else, there will be some level of additional cars on the road. I don't at this time, again, it's a preliminary conversation. We'll be going to DRC, where they will analyze all the traffic impacts. And, you know, we can also provide traffic impact study information at that stage of development review.
Okay, and so in the future, since your plan is to fill the pit with the burned debris, is this going to cause a sinkhole in the future in 30 years?
No, so there's stabilization. Methods, there you go, thank you for the word. There's stabilization methods and longstanding practices on how to turn excavated land, borrow pits into new land. There are places around town that have been developed. Isn't Cordova Mall Cordova Mall is on a reclaimed pit. So, you know, the sloping and the science behind it, I'd have to defer to an engineer, but no, it's not a sinkhole threat or anything like that. It turns it into usable property from, again, a giant hole in the ground. Yes, sir.
Some of us have been here long enough to have seen these pits dug out, all the dirt being gone. Back then, there were probably maybe 15 to 20 trucks a day bringing the dirt out.
Yes, sir.
Now that your client has the pit to dump the stuff into now, we're seeing probably 50 to 60 trucks a day. My question is, if he's filling the pit full of debris now, why doesn't he continue doing it the way we're doing it? Filling the pit with the trees and the branches, et cetera, et cetera. They're bringing semi-loads of that stuff in now, not just little dump trucks. But my question is, why now are we concerned about burning it? I'm assuming the ashes is what's going into the pit.
Correct.
So why not just continue with what they're doing and burying the live vegetation?
My understanding, and again, I'll get back to the commissioner on this, my understanding is that this process is better, and it creates a more stable final property. The volume reduction allows for, you know, more intake, because again, you're not dealing with like giant trees or trunks or limbs. You've got this char or ash that's created. And so, you know, obviously you run a business, there are financial gains to taking in more, but as you stated, I mean, there's already industrial truck traffic in the area. This is not going to increase that any greater and will make a better product. And again, I understand it's a better, you know, environmental use of the site. But I will, again, take your questions. I'm going to get this video and I'll get back with the commissioner. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, thank you. I live off of Bankhead on Klondike, have forever. This pit is already in use, so it's gonna be in use one way or another. Y'all aren't gonna be happy with my opinion on this. I would rather see the burn facility instead of them just coming in and filling it in and then filling it over and building a subdivision on top of it, because as it stands right now, behind my house, 144 houses are going in on top of wetlands that they've brought dirt, and they have dug out and put more dirt and tried to make holding ponds. It's on top of an old dump that was there. It was terrible. So if your option is, and they burn, They cleared it, burn it, clear it, burn it, clear it, burn it. I'm skimming out stuff out of my pool. It's terrible, it's awful, okay? So it's gonna happen, one way or another. The county's never seen a development that they didn't approve. So this land debris is always gonna be here, always. So at least with what you're trying to do, if your promise is, at the end of the day, we're gonna give this back for a usable green space or whatever, then that's what we need to try to get, because right now, if it's green and has a tree on it, a developer's gonna put 18 houses on it, no matter how big that piece of property is. So at least with this, if what you say is true, they are promising you a green space. Is it gonna be today? Is it gonna be tomorrow? No, it's gonna be down the road, but everybody's talking about their future and their kids. It's gonna be there for your kids, because as it stands, I bought my piece of property because the county told me 30 years ago, hey, that's a dump. It has, they have the pipes in where they check the methane. We're never gonna let anybody build on it. It's wetlands. It's never gopher turtles everywhere, deer. Nobody's ever gonna build on it. And you go there now, and they're tracking clay in and out. It rains, it floods my yard, it's running into the neighbor's yard. They had to build it up so high that they still haven't even got past the groundwork of having to continue to build it up every time it rains. So I'm for it. I think that if people think about it, if they're offering you this green space, that's the best you're gonna get. Because either way, if you don't let them go through with this and they fill that pit in quicker, 5 years, it's full of debris, covered up, you're gonna have 442 houses built right on top of you. And your traffic's gonna be a
They already
serious
said you
problem.
can't build but one house per 4 acres, right? Did she not say that? Didn't you say one house per 4 acres?
I'm sorry?
After it becomes a green space, didn't you say that you can only build one house per 4 acres?
So so right now, the future, and this is kind of the planning and zoning side of it. So the future land use right now is mixed use suburban, which is up to 25 homes per acre. We're going backwards, and to change it to the agricultural residential, if it's developed as a subdivision, however many years from now, it would be one house per every 4 acres under the future land use. That would be the maximum, but again, there's no intention to even do that much. But if, worst case scenario, if somebody came in, then it's 20-something acres. It could be, they're very limited uses like farming operations, very rural uses, and, very low density residential would be allowed. Versus us going to an industrial use, because again, it was one side of the spectrum or other to do this reclamation. Either agricultural, which allows this, industrial, we elected agricultural for exactly the reasons we're here talking about today, and because the future intent is not to come in there with some, industrial plan, not to come in there with some, small lot, packed in tight, ton of houses or anything like that.
Yes, ma'am. You said you lived around here for a long time. I don't know if you live in this area.
I live in Pensacola, but I don't live out
Okay.
here.
Well, if you've driven down Blue Angel or Mobile Highway anytime in the last 5 or 6 years, you'll understand how congested and ridiculous it can be when a semi-truck full of wood pulls out in front of you on it and then drives 30 miles an hour for 10 miles. And so you're sitting here telling us there's no traffic impact, you can't see any traffic impact. This guy's over here talking about dozens of semi-trucks a day. Dozens of semi-trucks on Blue Angel and Mobile Highway is just going to cause massive problems in our community, and that's just not going to fly.
I appreciate your comment. Again, I didn't say zero traffic. I said it would be minimal traffic. I've been here 20 years. When I first came here, I lived in Molino. I've lived out in Perdido Key. I've lived off 10 Mile Road. I've lived near Saltley Field. Now I'm out near the mall. So I am very familiar. I've seen the growth of downtown. I've seen the growth of Beulah, of Cantonment. Like, I've been here. I've seen it. I've been in the development world this whole time. So I understand your concerns. Growth is here, development is here. The question is, are we gonna do it in a smart way? Are we gonna do it in a respectful way? Are we gonna consider our neighbors, consider compatibility with the neighborhood? Are we willing to listen and be a good partner with the community? And I believe we are, and that's why I'm here today. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, we live right beside it.
Yes,
Our
ma'am.
backyard goes up to the easement like hers. Already, there is noise from the excavator that's back there all the time. It's not horrible, but there's noise. So the more input that comes into that, because the facility's gonna be able to take on a lot more, because now they're gonna burn it, it is gonna drive more traffic in. There will be noise with the incinerator. There will be more excavators out there working all the time. You talk, so that's one comment I have. That doesn't make me happy. The issue with the air quality is also a very big concern.
Yes.
Huge concern. And I know you stated that the EPA has guidelines. I don't really trust or have any confidence at all in the EPA, so I would like outside scientific data other than just the EPA to confirm the air quality issues. Would be minimal or none at all, okay? The other comment I have is that the trucks going in and out on Bankhead already leave a whole lot of mud and dirt on the road.
Yes.
There is dust constantly, and the road is always, always dirty, always. So this is a big concern for some of us that live directly on top of that pit.
Yes, ma'am, I appreciate that. As far as wanting studies other than the EPA, I can give you my card or send those to the commissioner for distribution. While this is new kind of cutting edge technology, it wasn't developed yesterday. So there have been years of this technology and growth where it has been studied. Again, some of the even more restrictive environmental states have fully adopted and blessed it. There are governments and entities throughout the state of Florida that utilize it as, again, a recognized standard of the best practice. So I will get those and I'm not a scientist, so all I can do is pass along the research and information that supports it. Happy to do that. As I indicated with Mr. Jones, as far as dirt trafficking on the road, if we need a wash station, if we need, if it's coming from my client's site, I will absolutely let him know, address that with him, and take steps even now to remediate, because it's our intent to be a good partner.
I just want to add also that it was a few months ago that I got this briefing from Meredith and the contractor, the owner of that pit. And at first blush, I like it. I mean, you saw the video, there's a guitar playing. Who doesn't like a guitar? If it had been a banjo, it'd been great too. But it was, I mentioned to them, and I mentioned this to Hassan, I said, I haven't seen one complaint. And Hassan corrected me and said, actually, we've got at least 2. So we have had 2. And I know that some people just don't complain because they either think it's falling on deaf ears or they're getting tired of complaining. They just don't want to hear themselves anymore. So that's why we're doing this. And I'm glad you guys are being respectful with Meredith because she's doing it. I think she did a good job, and I think the brief was good. I do believe in that technology. But the issue that he brought up, what was the chemical? Yeah, that don't sound good. So if we can get an answer for that, maybe we can put some of the fears to rest. Another thing they brought up, one of the very first things they brought up to me was they would deed that property to the county. I think that was kind of a good deal to do that. And I think it is about the incinerating all of that is efficient, and it also is probably better to fill that than just putting everything in there. So that's just a thought. That's all I'm saying about that.
But how many years is that going to take?
Yeah, that's another good question. How long will it take to fill that pit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're talking 50 to 100 years.
Oh, I don't know. Will it be that long? I don't think so.
I don't know, but I will get you an answer. And obviously, it's going to depend on what comes in, as for what goes in the ground to fill the hole. But I'll get you an answer. As part, again, of the operation plan, the lifespan of the facility is, and Mr. Jones is the director, he's nodding at me, so that's part of what will be submitted. That'll all be in the public record. I invite you to the August 19th Board of Adjustment, or the County Commission in September. All of that's going to be in the materials available for you to review. And you can look at the plan and see, is there a wash station? You can look at the plan and see it's this long of a lifespan. You can look at the plan and see the load. So we'll answer those questions. I'm here to hear your questions. I appreciate the input.
And I don't think the complaints we have were about the noise or smoke or anything. It was about the dirt on the road. Am I right? Was it more than that?
We haven't had an opportunity.
What else? What else?
They're already, so it's fire pit and waste is the trucks that are going back there currently, right? Not ECUA trucks, fire pit and waste, correct? They're already letting people dump tires back there. You can say no, but I'll walk down there tomorrow, the little 20 feet away from my home, and I'll show you.
So there are many pits in this area, many pits that are not this pit, and if you'll indulge me a minute, I'll pull up the map to show you all the pits. I would say there's no dumping of any tires or construction debris or anything like that in this pit, nor will there be. Now, I am aware of a code complaint related to dirt being trapped on the road. As soon as that was brought to our attention, or not mine, but the clients, the owners, my understanding is they took action to remediate that. Again, it's only when we become aware of what's going on that we can take steps to remediate it. But if you indulge me 1 second, let me pull up the map, the aerial from the property appraiser, and you can see the other pits in the area and maybe another facility, because all around this, there's residential on one side, the rest are existing excavated pits.
And if I may, my name is Lawrence Jones. I'm the director for the Planning and Zoning Department. Everything gotta come by me, my department. There's a soul, because the team that I work with, and Meredith knows very well, we don't go by the regulations. There is a board. The first thing, and that's why the Commissioner Stolberg had this, but this operation, they got to have another public hearing before the Board of Adjustments. Don't be Mr. Tell Meyer, Jebicus, I want to give these people who don't know. Once you receive that card in the mail, you need to show up at that meeting.
Who's going to receive the card?
The city is 2,500 feet, people, is a radius of 2,500 feet. Neighbors tell your neighbors.
The entire district?
Yes, within 2,500 feet of that property. Because if you go to the entire district, that's practically impossible. Within 2,500 feet, and neighbors can tell neighbors, and you need to show up, because at this point, as Randy said with the commissioner, nothing has been clearly submitted to start any type of operations. The Board of Adjustments, when you come, you can make your concerns to them, and if they need to put special project conditions on it, they are authorized to do that.
Okay.
They are authorized to do that. So, let me finish, please, respectfully. I've been doing it a long time. So, this is good. You hear it from firsthand, you're listening, so be involved, because there will be adverse impact, but these things can be minimized. That's why starting now. Don't wait until plans get drawn and all that type of stuff. And sometimes when you get that far, it's hard to draw it back in. But you're doing the right thing, you open it up. That's a good commissioner, open it up so you can get the input. He's taking notes. The BOA meeting, you need to show, this is what they're gonna do what they want to do. The BOA, they gonna make their decision. And they do say no, trust me.
Yeah, so
If I may, please.
Horst is right. He does, wow. Everything does go through him. We call him the transfer station. No, we don't. We don't do that. While Meredith is looking something up, or getting that map up, I just wanted to pass something else on. It's some good news. For everyone, that the good news is about a Bellevue Community Redevelopment Area, a CRA. Does everyone know what a CRA is?
Let's go back.
Does everyone know what a CRA is?
Yes.
So a CRA isn't more taxes. What it means is we're going to define an area in Bellevue to create the CRA. And in this CRA, we'll be able to keep about 75% of the new taxes for Bellevue, for all the improvements we need in Bellevue. I'm sorry? Well, right, there's a tax base now, correct me if I'm wrong, Morris or anybody else, But wherever that level is, any new taxes above that, we will be able to keep 75% of them in Bellevue. So that's a good thing. The funds will be used to help address community priorities such as infrastructure improvements, beautification, public safety enhancements, economic development, and neighborhood revitalization. So that's a good thing. So like I said, 75%, that's pretty good. Go ahead.
What's the boundary of Bellevue? Okay, Steve? Commissioner?
So this is the aerial map, and I've been told this has like a little, there we go. So this is the property here. You'll see there are excavated pits around,
Around here.
What are you doing?
Around here. Around here.
Sir, you gotta see, please.
Notice
Have a seat.
I'm sorry.
yes, sir, so everyone within 2,500 square feet will be notified. It hasn't happened yet because this is just saying, hey, you're gonna get notice. This is telling you the plan. You will get notice. I've told you the dates. I'll give you my card. Ultimately, it'll be in Escambia County.
Yes, yes, no. Escambia County, right?
No, sir, it's a privately owned property.
Now,
Correct.
in the future, it's gonna run the site.
No, sir, privately owned. Chambers Construction owns the site. There's no intent to give it to the county to operate or run. After it's filled and returned to a natural state, it'll be deeded to the county for a park or for public use, something of that. So Chambers Construction is the owner. Fire Waste Pit is an operator of air burners.
Are they registered here in Escambia County, Sun Miss?
Sir, I don't represent Fire Waste Pit. I represent Chambers Construction, the owner of the property.
Okay, Fire Waste Pit doesn't exist. They're a shell company for Chambers. Okay?
Sir, I don't know that to be true.
It is true, I looked it up, they're not on Sundays. They don't exist here in the state of Florida as a business. And they got a sign up on the property saying, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Who's Tracy with this?
I don't know a Tracy, sir.
I've had 2 or 3 hours of conversation